The Curse of Oak Island team has discovered evidence that proves people once lived on the island. Rick and Marty Lagina, along with their team, have been exploring the swamp, a triangular-shaped area that has consistently provided them with fascinating finds. The swamp is believed to hold connections to the Money Pit, potentially linking past excavation attempts and structures designed to conceal something of value. The team's first task was to investigate a stone walkway in the southeast corner of the swamp, which is an intentionally constructed feature. The angular placement of the stones, their alignment and their origin suggest they were brought here for a specific purpose. Some of the rocks are similar in size and shape to those forming the famous Nolan's Cross, which is a megalithic cross. Discovered in 1981 by the late Fred Nolan, the team noted how some of the stones appear to come from deep underground, not the nearby beach. They speculated that these stones were likely extracted during previous excavation efforts, possibly related to the Money Pit, and then placed in the swamp. If this is true, it suggests the swamp might not be natural at all, but a carefully engineered feature. The team also focused on the garden shaft, an 18th century structure believed to be close to a potential treasure tunnel. As they continued their work, they uncovered more evidence that reinforced the theory of human activity in the area. A shoe fragment was found near the stone walkway, which was vegetable tanned, which used to be a common process in the 1600s and 1700s. The stitching further suggested it was hand-sewn likely in Europe, and brought to the island. The experts who were with them believed the shoe belonged to someone of higher rank, like an officer rather than a laborer. This suggested the presence of individuals overseeing work rather than performing it themselves. This small find tells us that someone of importance was here. Not just workers. The leather's condition and craftsmanship tie it to a specific historical context. It is likely that there was a European involvement as the team continued to analyze the swamp. They acknowledged the importance of understanding its purpose. If the swamp was modified or entirely artificial, it raises questions about its role in concealing whatever lies at the heart of Oak Island's mystery. The placement of the stones, the alignment of the walkway, and the presence of unusual geological features all point to intentional human activity. By this point, the swamp is proving to be much more than a curious side project. As the day progressed, the team pushed forward with their excavation efforts, removing layers of earth in the garden shaft to locate the tunnel believed to lie beneath, possibly leading to the treasure, or providing more clues. Rick and Marty reflected on the significance of their work, caring less about finding the treasure and more about preserving history, honoring the island's legacy, and fulfilling a mission that spans centuries. Chris, a researcher, believes that the Knights Templar, a medieval order known for their military and financial prowess, may have hidden vast treasures on Oak Island. He believes that some of these treasures might have made their way to Oak Island, and Nolan's Cross is the key to finding them. Chris first explains that Nolan's Cross is a symmetrical arrangement of boulders spread across the island, each one massive and seemingly out of place. He suggests that the Templars, or a group inspired by them, had created the cross as a map guiding future generations to a hidden treasure. The alignment of the boulders was no accident, and the drilled stones, which were rocks with small carved holes, formed a straight line with certain points on Nolan's Cross, leading directly to the Money Pit, which is believed to hold the island's greatest secrets. The first drilled stone was discovered by Frederick Blair in the late 18th century, and later Fred Nolan found 2 more drilled stones. During his surveys, Chris analyzed their positions and realized they lined up perfectly with key points on Nolan's Cross, reinforcing the idea that they were part of a larger design. One of the most amusing features of Nolan's Cross was Cone C, which was the starting point for anyone following the Templars' map. From there, the drilled stones acted as navigational markers leading toward the money pit. The team's curiosity grows with each detail, and Chris points out that these markers were not unique to Oak Island. Similar features had been found at Templar sites across Europe, where natural landmarks and man-made structures were used together to create coded maps. The Legina brothers, Marty and Rick. Legina have been exploring the hidden treasures of Oak Island for over 2 centuries. Their quest began when they read an article in Reader's Digest about the infamous Money Pit, which has sparked curiosity worldwide. The brothers have been drawn to the island by tales of hidden riches that have remained out of reach for over 2 centuries. The Money Pit is an intricately constructed pit, filled with logs at various levels, and possibly other materials like coconut fibers, when treasure hunters think they've reached the bottom. Flood tunnels supposedly built by the original constructor let in water from the Atlantic Ocean. This ingenious design has prevented many from reaching whatever lies at the bottom. However, the Legina brothers discovered a sunken ship near the Money Pit, confirmed by experts to be from the early 1700s, indicating human activity on the island. For over 400 years, the Legina brothers' interest in the island and its treasures has been burning for more than a decade. Their exploration led to a documentary that highlights their search and uncovers a long structure, thought to be the notorious Dunfield's Labyrinth. From 1938, the documentary is full of intriguing questions and thoughts, and it will help the Legina brothers contribute to the ongoing story of the island and its hidden treasures in 2006. Archaeologists working at the South Shore Cove on the island made a cool find. They stumbled upon what looked like an old road made of logs known as a corduroy road, because it resembled the fabric of the same name. As they dug deeper, it became obvious that this wasn't just any old road, but a really ancient one. They found several logs, some of which turned out to be much older cedar wood. After doing some carbon dating on the wood, the results confirmed that these logs were cut long before anyone officially started searching or settling on the island. This discovery was a big deal, because it suggested there was significant activity on the island way earlier than previously thought. However, the archaeologists faced a setback when bad weather hit. Damaging the road, they had to rebuild it quickly to protect the logs so they could study them more the next year. Despite the weather damage, the samples from the wood already told an important story. They indicated that the history of human activity on the island went way back much further than we initially believed. Throughout the treasure hunting history of the island, people have occasionally found old pathways or roads. This particular road ran for hundreds of yards, navigating through varied landscapes and crossing a critical watershed area between the upland and Smith's Cove. The discovery of coconut fiber within the structure of the road was particularly surprising, suggesting that there was a planned effort to build a durable road, perhaps for transporting materials or as part of a larger operation. Finding an old road on Oak Island suggests people were active there much earlier than we thought, opening up new possibilities for exploration. The discovery of the ancient road on Oak Island, off the southeast coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, by Marty and Rick Legina, along with their exploration team, was a significant discovery. In 1996, the team discovered an elevated rock formation paved with flat stones laid closely together, which led to discussions about verifying the presence of a stone road and understanding its extent and purpose. Despite conducting a geophysical survey, the results were inconclusive. But the idea of a stone road persisted, especially after geophysicist Mike Hunt identified a packed and rolled stone surface almost 3 feet below the modern surface of the land, in an area far from any known old buildings or previously cleared land. The excavation in this area unearthed a layer of homogeneous clay containing various artifacts, suggesting that this area could have historical significance beyond what was initially visible. The depth of the clay and the artifacts found were similar to those found in the wartime trench, indicating that this feature might be an extension of the stone road. Discovered, the team decided to further investigate the area to the north by trenching across the line of the road. Revealed by Hunt Survey, this excavation turned out to be successful, as the team found stone rubble about 1.6 feet below the modern land surface. In a small area with a relatively high density of artifacts. This find was exciting, as it suggested that the road might lead to or be connected with another structure, or perhaps another road line. The discovery and exploration of this road represent a chance to connect with the history of the island, piecing together the activities that took place there, long before the modern era of treasure hunters and explorers. Every artifact and structure uncovered adds another layer to our understanding, suggesting that its history is far richer and more complex than anyone might have guessed from the surface as we wait for the spring and the resumption of work. We are left to wonder about the stories that lie beneath the surface. What were the people like who built this road? What were they doing on the island? How does this road fit into the larger history of the area? These are the questions that keep historians, archaeologists, and curious minds engaged with the ongoing exploration. The stone road is an impressive piece of work, made up of about 6,000 stones, showing it was way ahead of its time. In terms of engineering, it was built wide and flat, probably so it could handle lots of traffic, possibly from a bunch of people or even carts. The careful construction of the road raises many questions, encouraging the team to delve deeper into the island's past. The discovery of the ancient Portuguese stone road on Oak Island has been a significant part of New World history, providing a model for future research into the history of the New World. Before the 19th century, the road's construction matches well with historical events and artifacts discovered around it, particularly British coins. The discovery has opened up new chapters in our exploration for connections to the ancient ancestors of Polynesia. The road is roughly 3 feet wide and has been built in sections, sometimes with a single layer of stones, sometimes with several. The edges are neatly lined with large basalt slabs, which are then packed in with smaller stones and organic material. The road's widest point at the water's edge, where it's shaped by wave action during high surf, exposes parts of the underlying chocolate-brown sand cliffs and the road's stone structure, now partly underwater. The discovery is not just about finding an old road, it's about piecing together on Oak Island the combination of the swamp. The drilled stones and Nolan's Cross suggested a similar approach. The big question here was why Oak Island? Chris explained that the Templars were masters of strategy, known for their ability to hide treasures in plain sight. After their persecution in the 14th century, they scattered across Europe, and some theories suggest they ventured even further. Nova Scotia, with its remote location and rugged terrain, would have been an ideal hiding spot. Chris emphasized that the arrangement of the stones carried symbolic meaning. The cross itself was a powerful symbol for the Templars representing their faith and mission. By embedding this symbol into the landscape of Oak Island, they ensured that their presence and secrets would be remembered to test the theory. Rick and Marty decided to bring in Steve Guptill, their trusted surveyor, if the alignment was as precise as Chris claimed. Steve's measurements would confirm it. The team reflected on the significance of the cross as it was a link to the past and a tangible connection to a story that had spanned centuries. While the survey continued, the team could not ignore the broader implications of Chris's work. If the Templars had indeed hidden treasures on Oak Island, it would rewrite history as they knew it. The idea that a medieval order had crossed the Atlantic and left its mark on this remote island was both thrilling and humbling. The team delved into the swamp, where they discovered a massive tree stump buried deep in the muck. This discovery led to the idea that the swamp was not a swamp, but had been forested and later manipulated into its current state. The stump showed signs of being cut with tools, possibly an axe, which opened a floodgate of theories. The absence of related logs nearby was puzzling, as it suggested someone had taken the wood to construct the wooden platforms found in the money pit. Decades ago, those platforms made of rounded logs were discovered almost 2 centuries earlier, and were thought to be part of a design to safeguard the treasure from flooding. If this stump was connected to that work, it would add a new layer to the swamp's significance. The swamp had always been a mystery in itself, with uncovered stone walkways and unusual rock formations there suggesting significant human activity. The discovery of a second stump reinforced the idea that this was not just a natural feature, but part of a broader deliberate design. If they could date the stump accurately, it might reveal when the swamp was created or manipulated by human hands. Rick and Gary Drayton returned to the swamp the next day, determined to investigate further. They dug deeper into the triangle-shaped area, hoping to find more evidence of human activity. Another stump was unearthed with clean cuts that indicated tool use, but the surrounding logs were missing. This reinforced the theory that the swamp had been forested and later transformed into what it is today, possibly as part of a grander scheme to hide the treasure. One theory is that the swamp was designed to obscure entrances to tunnels or other features connected to the money pit. Another possibility is that the swamp itself was part of the Templars or other settlers' efforts to conceal their activities on the island. The deeper the team dug, the clearer it became that this was not just a natural swamp. It was an intentional feature after digging to a depth of 95 feet. They encountered a 7-foot-wide tunnel that seemed to lead toward what they called the baby blob. Excitement was building as the team prepared to explore the tunnel further. They uncovered wooden pieces that appeared to be part of a structure, possibly one of the wooden platforms historically associated with the money pit. When they used a crowbar to explore beneath the logs, they found what appeared to be a hollow space, suggesting that the tunnel might still be intact and could lead to something significant. The team now plans to extend the shaft and explore the tunnel more thoroughly, knowing they are closer than ever to uncovering the truth about Oak Island. The tree stumps in the swamp are particularly fascinating, as they suggest that the swamp was deliberately flooded or transformed. At some point, the presence of round timbers, similar to those found on the wooden platforms, ties this find directly to the original money pit excavations.